pinching up at our Achilles tendon.
So the Achilles tendon,
It's right there's your
Okay.
Achilles tendon. Bend the leg, you can see it.
ah, perfect hooking spot.
Just to cut down each leg to the rectum, and then from the rectum down to the brisket, and then I'll finish the cut once I start the front half.
Are any of your sons learning this part of it?
My son works for me full time. He can do the whole thing, start to finish.
That's awesome.
Generally, I have him in the shop cutting. I do all the butchering.
Are you the only mobile butcher here in this area?
In this area that I'm aware of, there's one in Camp Verde that I don't know his name, and there's a Jake up in Williams who's mobile. There was another guy trained in Wikia. He had a shop for 2 years and he quit this last November. He just couldn't get help.
Wow. Yeah, it seems
Great,
like a
great business. He goes, but I can't find anyone.
can't find anyone to do it. That's sad.
And that's the same thing I run into, is trying to find good help. It takes
Unless
so
you
long.
raise them yourself.
It takes so long to train somebody.
Did your father teach you how to do this?
I'm the first. I learned, started in a grocery store, clean up, and then the first 6 hours of the day, they would teach me to cut, and that was when they still did carcass beef in the grocery stores.
Interesting.
And I grew up on ranches, so the butchering, hunting, and stuff, I kind of had a basic understanding of this.
Yeah.
And I watched an old guy in Michigan that all he did was the butcher part one day for a couple hours, and I learned a few little tricks that helped. But, I mean,
The rest of it was on the job.
repetition.
Yeah. Yeah, I used the tail last time that you gave us and put it in the crock pot, made like a barbecue, kind of a, I don't know, treated it like I would ribs, slow, all day, cook. It was good.
Go online, there's some Cuban recipes that are really good too. Kind of in like a brown gravy, put over rice or noodles.
Sounds
real slow like that.
Yeah.
Once the tail is skinned, just cut the rectum back to where it's back inside the body a little bit. And you can catch the joint, the last joint, as it goes into the body. And the more you press down on the tail, the easier it'll be to walk it away. Once it's separated other than the fat, just come back and you can kind of see where the joints are. And I just will score them just to get the tail to separate, where it's easier to serve.
Yeah, that made it much easier when I cooked it to have it bendable.
Yeah, if you don't know where those joints are, you'll be sawing on it all day. Then it'll wrap around.
It'll curl up. Nice.
So since this one's a male, we're going to pull the penis loose first. Start it up over the top. And I'll just cut right in between the two muscles there. There's negative pressure in the abdomen. So once I break that, you'll hear kind of a vacuum that dropped. Just cut it right down to the top of the sternum. Testicles to the side. Okay, let me go to the back side. Now we'll continue taking the penis around. This whole pelvis is encased in bone. So once you get to the back inside of this pelvis here, you really can't hurt anything by cutting. There's not any muscle to cut. So you're just basically gonna cut all the way around that pelvis bone. Get the rectum cut loose. On the underside, this bone right here kind of dips down, so you don't want to go in this way, you want to have more vertical.
Oh, okay.
See, inside it's pretty much cut all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll pull everything through from the inside.
So you've released it all.
Correct. Now, everything is connected up on the backbone. So I gotta work my way down the sides. It's pretty full, so it's...
He was supposed to be empty, but I think our cows are too well fed.
Okay, I don't know if you can see inside there. Right here where the knife is touching, that's the diaphragm, separates the heart and lungs. That also helps hold it in. All the connective tendons are right down the backbone. So I'm gonna cut that loose. It'll help to release it.
And then then it all comes out.
Yeah. Okay, now all you have left basically is the heart and lungs inside. All the stomachs, liver, kidneys are on the outside. Now I'm going to cut him in half, leaving one rib on the hindquarter, 12 on the fronts. So in between your first and second rib, you can feel it right there. Is the top rib. There's your second rib. Just in between them, just follow it around.
Between the first and second rib, you're cutting.
Correct. Cut right up to the spine. Do the same thing on the inside. Spine. That's where we're going to cut him in half to split these and get your hindquarters.
And then your hindquarters are done. Wow, this is fascinating.
I'm going to remove the spinal cord just because the state inspectors like it.
To remove the spinal cord?
Correct. That's the mad cow disease. It stays in the nervous system. Any animal under 30 months old, I don't have to, but I do on all of them just because it makes them happy.
And this is where the right equipment helps tremendously.
Got good marbling too. The first steak you're looking at right there is the ribeye. Where I cut it off was the last T-bone, and you can see all the internal fat. So that's good.
That's
He's
interesting.
heavily marbled.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and this one too, 100% grass-fed.
And that's why the fat's a little bit yellower. Okay, I'm gonna hook the front ribs now. So I'm gonna go down 2 ribs. If you hook the top rib, it's not enough strength to hold the weight. So go 2 ribs deep, sink it, come in here, 2 ribs. And you want it somewhat centered on the side to side. Collect the rest of the organs. Here's the gallbladder.
That's the
and
bile.
The one lady, the liquid inside is the bile. So we're gonna keep that separate for her.
Yeah, she was so excited. She said her sisters are coming over and they're gonna cook up the. I can't remember. She'll be here soon. I think she said the first stomach is cooked with the
menudo.
yeah, with the bile to flavor it or something. I don't know.
Kidneys now. You got these 2 balls of fat right here. That's the suet, which encases the kidneys. So if you just cut through the fat, you'll expose the kidney.
So why is kidney not as popular to eat?
It's a lot of work. The old saying, you have to boil the pee out of it, is true. You have to get the impurities out. The first boil, the water will look kind of brown, scummy. So for 2 pounds of meat, it's
a lot of work. Yeah, I'll give that to her as well.
The other one's right here. Okay, so we'll leave that little liver with the gallbladder attached.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed enough with that giant heart you gave me. I gave it to my neighbor. I was like, I'm running out of time. This thing's not improving with age.
Right.
So she made heart chili. It was really good. But yeah, she said it was a lot of work to prepare it, to cut it up.
Okay. I'll pull the heart. You might be able
To see?
right up against the sternum here is the heart's inside the bag. And you pull it up loose, and then all the connective arteries are in the top of it. Just cut through those. Now we can drain the blood out of it. And that is your heart.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this to the side and then I'll empty out that first stomach. Easiest way to move a stomach or gut pile is to give yourself 2 handholds.
So you give yourself 2 handholds and then you pull it?
There's no way to get a hold of it otherwise. You actually move it.
Yeah.
And that's the stomach she wants anyhow, so I've got to empty that out.
Oh yeah, they were eating clover last night. There it is.
Yeah, He wasn't starving.
No, no, this is not a starving cow. Like I said, a happy cow. Well, we let them in the clover last night to give them one last good meal.
That's where it's at. We're still making. I think she wanted the intestines as well.
Yeah, she wants to use the intestines and make something out of the first stomach. We'll see what she comes up with. She was very excited.
That's what we're looking at. So you just cut in between that fat. Just kind of work it up. And since he is full, they're pretty full as well.
Okay.
So we'll go as far as we can. I have to drain it and get some more.
Oh, you're draining it like back into itself.
Correct. Pushing everything back down in it. Now it tore right there, so I'm going to cut it off on that side. And where I started my deal, I'm going to go the other direction. Kind of like making a bratwurst.
Yeah. How often have you salvaged this? I'm not
Too many to count.
Okay, so there are other people that because you seem like you know exactly what you're doing here.
The Hispanics, this is tripas. Tripas de leche.
Which we would call tripe?
No.
That's different.
Tripe is the stomach.
Is the stomach.
Tripas are the intestines.
Okay.
Okay, now we're getting pretty full.
So leche is milk, so what they...
Where I first started to make my cut right here, there was basically nothing in the intestine.
Oh.
If you cut it in half right there, there's kind of a gray pink liquidy deal, and that's the leche. They would leave that in it.
Oh.
But when they're full like this, then they'll flush it.
Gotcha.
Then they'll braid them, barbecue them.
Interesting. What is the texture of intestine? Have you had it?
Yeah. They usually cook it to where it's crispy.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like eating overcooked bacon with
Okay.
with no salt. It's nothing I go out of my way to get. It's not gross. Okay, see where these intestines, see how they're real flat? There's really nothing in it. Okay, for your YouTube, I'll show it. You can see where it's that
the
kind
leche.
of that's
that
the
would
leche.
they call the milk.
That would be the leche, correct. Now, if the animal had been off of food for a couple of days, a lot larger portion of these intestines would be full of that, and then they wouldn't rinse it. They would just leave it in there.
They would cook it with that in.
Correct, to get the enzymes that are in it. But when they're full like this,
So it sounds like it's something that could be really good for you. All those enzymes.
There's a lot of good.
Especially a healthy cow.
Right. Okay, we'll leave the rest of that. Now we'll pull the spleen off the top of the stomach.
Does anyone ever keep the spleen?
You can eat it.
You can throw it in for her. She'll probably... She couldn't remember all the names. She's like, I want everything. So...
Anyhow, the spleen inside is just like beet red.
Wow. Wow. That looks...
It's
probably
another filter, like the liver.
another thing you have to cook to death.
Usually they cut it into real small pieces, and the Hispanics anyhow will have a disc in oil, and they'll mix heart, liver, and spleen, and maybe a little bit of meat, and just kind of do a stir fry with chilies and stuff, so you get a lot of flavor.
So the night of the butcher, you eat all this?
Yeah, this will be the party. We'll give her the butcher steak too. This is the muscle that holds the gut pile up to the spine.
I have heard of this before. The butcher's steak.
Butcher steak. If you're going to keep anything, this will be on the gut pile. So
Yeah.
it goes in the trash.
Yeah, go for it. Give it to her.
But it's kind of a chewy muscle, but it is just muscle. Okay. Now all that wonderful clover you gave him last night will shake out of him. And if he ate anything in his life other than hay, it'll be in the stomach. Baling twine, garbage bags.
I don't think it.
Nothing ever passes from this stomach.
I don't think it was this cow, but one of them we saw baler twine hanging out of its mouth, and we pulled on it, and it was.
Oh, they love string.
It was a little frightening to see how much he had already swallowed, but I think it was one of the younger cows.
It's amazing how much I've pulled out of some cows.
And it doesn't kill them. It just hangs out in their first stomach.
It can kill them. If it plugs the hole from the first to the second,
Oh.
or the second to the third, it'll kill them. They'll bloat and die in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, it's not worth risking.
No. Well, and I also did a couple one time that the guy had kids that were feeding these cattle for him, young kids, and they thought it was funny to feed the cows the string
Oh dear.
because they just suck it up like spaghetti. And what it did was it filled the stomach so full of twine, there was no room left for hay.
That is a lot
so
of
they literally
twine.
were starving to death, standing in feed. Each ball of twine was like that big around.
When you process the cow?
I took it out, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, that is another part that I am okay with giving away. Just not looking at that, seeing
Okay.
food.
This is what they call the honeycomb tripe. And you can tell from the texture
Oh, yeah, yeah.
why. This is the more prized tripe.
Some people use all the stomachs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all edible. Just depends how hungry you are,
That's how hungry you
how
are.
much work you want to do. And there's your tripe.
Wow. I'm amazed how, I don't know how to say it, like textured the inside is.
Yeah, there's a lot of texture.
That is really interesting.
The last stomach is commonly referred to as the Bible. They don't use this one typically because you'll see inside why.
The Bible? It's referred to as the Bible?
Yeah. Okay. It's like, it doesn't matter how much you clean it, you will find another page.
Wow.
It's just layer after layer after layer. Each layer is just paper thin, and that whole thing is just stacked with them.
Wow, so it is processing through,
Correct.
absorbing every
That is
last
why a
bit.
cow can survive on real low quality feed because they get every bit of nutrients out of it.
That's amazing.
That one,
So that's the last
you'll
stomach.
think you got it all clean, and you'll find a page or two you missed. All right. Make sure work at that.
Yeah. It'll be easy to put in the hole. There's not much left to Very. We have truly used 100% of this cow.
Cut all the way down the bottom of his chin now, where we left off at the sternum earlier. Once you skin it out to where you can see this front leg, just cut through the skin, kind of open this leg up. And then to keep hair from getting in your cut, always cut from underneath. Just cut down that leg. And skin it back. If you cut on top of the hair, you'll cut all the hair and then the hair will fall back into your cut. Anytime you skin, the harder you can pull with your offhand, the easier it is for the knife to work. Easier to cut being down the back than from the front because I'm more concerned. I don't really care about if I get off of the spine on the inside, but if you're cutting the other way and you get off, you're going to cut your ribeye in half. So on the outside you can see where you're going better. Lungs out, it's easier to do it from the back. It's gapped open more. So just flip them over. Got each side. Once you get a hold of the trachea, it's a good handhold. And the rest is just muscle. You have to cut through.
Wow. The last
One
part.
more bag for you. And the same thing, I'm going to take the spinal cord out.
Okay.
Just to see.
Have you gotten the hanging weight yet?
No. No, I won't get that till I unload.
Oh, okay.
Ballpark, I'm going to guess about 6 1/4.
Okay.
But some days I can miss a chicken by 3 pounds. So.
By 3 pounds? That's pretty bad. There's hamburger.
4 quarters.
Beautiful.
Ready to chill.
Awesome. So excited. Well, there it is. From beginning to end, the long version of how to process a cow and use every part of it, 100%. This is all that's left. I cannot believe it. Truly the stuff that is inedible. Even all 3 stomachs were taken. Hamburger's life here on Earth, but he will continue to feed and sustain our lives, and for that we are grateful. 99% of him has been used in some way to benefit someone else. The little bit of remains here are going to be pulled and drug into the hole and buried, and it will be full circle. Even this little bit that's left will go back into the dirt, feed the grass for the next cows. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something about how to live sustainably